can find that's probably very expensive. Um, I prefer to use chlorate anyway. I am a pro-chlorate person, and as I have often said, if you don't, some people have a irrational fear of chlorate, as though using perchlorate was a silver bullet, or would keep you from harm. And anybody that thinks that, as I've often said, should get another hobby, because there's that much difference in the sensitivity and danger, if you want to call it that, between chlorate and perchlorate. And I think often people get a false sense of security when they use perc. And I'm not trying to dissuade anyone from using perc instead of chlorate, only to say that don't think that you're immune. You still have to treat it with the same respect. You know, let's say assume it is chlorate when you're working with it, even if it is perc. And also remember that a lot of the formulas that are basically chlorate formulas converted to perc will have sulfur and other chemicals in there that increase the sensitivity. Anybody got any questions about what I'm talking about? Okay, I'll move on then. And I'm not going to bore you with how to mix the powder together. You've probably all done that. I just happen to have some that I made. I've tested them a couple times. Actually, whistle powder can have a shelf life problem. And you look at it, if it's clumped up and you haven't used it for a couple weeks, then it's best to run it through a screen. Now this one doesn't have any clumping, even though it's been in humid weather recently. And I made it about a month ago. The point there is that I'm going to tell you how I make it. By the way, I brought, if anybody, I got paper here if you want to rip out a sheet, if you want to take notes. I don't have any other handouts because I never know where these things are going to go. So if anybody wants some paper to make notes with, I've got it right here. Those dollar stores, they're gold mines.
Is your whistle mix a chlorate mix?
This is
the whistle mix you're using.
This is.
Is it a chlorate?
Is that a chlorate or a perchlorate?
No, not this one. It could be.
Okay.
I use some high purity, but I just made a small batch. I don't want to. And what you could do is, if you take what I do sometimes too with the disappearing Swedish and my distrust of the so-called high purity Chinese perc, I will mix just the cheap stuff that's used for salutes and the chlorate half and half. I don't think the increase of sensitivity is worth worrying about, given my previous spiel. Excuse me for a second. Okay, so later on I'm going to cover green flash. In fact, I'll shoot a little bit and I'll show you how it works. A ways away from here in the shade so you can see the green. Now, I suspect there may be a shelf life problem with it as far as the greenness. And I swear you could take the same powder one night, it looked green, vivid green, the next night it looks washed out green. And just like guys take the same rockets that are made with the barium sulfate for their strobe rockets, and it'll look green one night and the next night same powder looks white. I can't explain it. Maybe there's some chemists here who could. Okay, so we'll save the best part for last. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a whistle and light it right now. Now some of you, I'm sure, have seen these, and this there are 3-inch and 2 3/4 inch are typically the whistle sizes, the tubes you want. 1/2 inch ID usually. Don't ever buy a 9/16 ID tube for anything, because you get on the ATF list for M80s when you do that. If you buy 9/16 tubes from a manufacturer, probably some of you have heard that. Go to 5/8. Maybe you could buy the millimeter equivalent, which would be about 15 or probably 14.
16.
Anyway, in fact, you could use 7/16s, probably work just well. Okay, here's now. Oh, by the way, what I've used in the past, you could just take a little block of like a 2x4 and find some 1/2-inch dowel, probably $1 or less. You could buy it. Cut little piece, measure the size of the, drill a hole all the way through, or you could drill 6 or 8 holes and put 6 or, you have to separate them enough so that, the idea is you could make like a gang ram. I was thinking of bringing my 1-ton, I have a 3-ton and a 1-ton press. I was going to bring the 1-ton, but we were a little short on space, and you could take that one block, fill each one up, and then just go. I mean, you have to take the rammer out of each one, unless you got a whole bunch of rammers. And then, of course, if you got a bunch of rammers, then you can put a plate on top of that. But now you're getting to where to get the proper push, you probably need a hydraulic press. Am I losing you with this? Okay, good. So now when you when you ram, you can ram the whistle powder all at one end. Okay, and you've probably seen, they'll usually call it fish and whistle. Some of those, since there aren't many American-made or Italian-derived shells around anymore, that's when they go like this through the sky, and that's if you put the comp on one end. Okay, you put a little. I got a bunch of. It's a pretty simple thing to do. Just hold it with the finger. You don't need much.
That's the clay.
Just enough to solidify it there, and let's see.
Is that your clay plug?
Is that plugged at the end with clay?
Sorry, I've only got one hearing aid in, and I got.
Is it plugged in the end with clay?
Yes, it is now. Okay. You wanna? Oh.
I don't think you should throw it to him.
Dave's asleep.
You lose it in there?
No, I got it.
Just pass around it. That's what it looks like. Not much to it. And then you ram the clay. After the clay's in. But the ones I like are ones that go around, look somewhat like a tourbillon or a little pinwheel. And for that, that's why you use this type. Plus the fact if you got to jig multiples of these, you could make them a lot faster. I'm always wishing I had stuff like that. So I'm going to take another one here, put it on there. This one I just need to put a pinch of the clay in. And now I usually use a slightly heaping half. Is that a half teaspoon or a teaspoon? That's half. Usually it's best to have two. You want to keep your increments small, like a. And before I forget, this powder here is 7-3. That's the old standard of whistle. It's 7 parts perk, 3 parts. Okay, 3 parts. I'm pretty sure it's benzoate. It doesn't make any difference. You can use either one. I think benzoate probably gives a better whistle. The salicylate may be a little stronger if you care.
What creates the sound?
Pardon me?
What creates the sound of the whistle?
The vibration.
The vibrations of
Yeah.
the chemical burning.
Oscillatory.
Yeah,
burn.
oscillatory. And
Yep.
what is that? PT8 or one of the pyrotechnics there is. That should be enough. Usually I have concrete blocks all over, and I rearrange them for tables, and I can sit down and make stuff all day. Okay, now it won't accidentally light at the other end because I got that little clay in there. Would you like to see it? Shall I pass it around?
And you're not worried about hand ramming that versus
No.
enterprise?
Okay, like I said, this is made with a 7.3, but I also add about I think it's 5 or 6 parts red gum, and then take let's see, I think it's not isopropyl, but I think it's the methyl alcohol that you can buy the gallons, and usually it's about 20% is the right percentage. You don't care if it's a little sloppy, and then you take a spoon, I don't care if it's plastic or wooden is probably the best, and run it through a screen, and it'll be dry. If you do it in the morning, it'll be dry in the afternoon. If you do it in the afternoon, it'll be dry the next day. So just let it sit on a piece of paper and dry. And when that one comes back, I'm going to anybody hear that the visco fuse is going to be, or already has been, categorized 1.3?
I heard it was coming. I haven't heard that they've done it yet.
There's, did you say legislation?
No, I said I heard that
Oh.
the ruling was coming
Yeah.
from DOT, but I have not seen
Yeah,
it yet.
Well, I was told 2 weeks ago that it's here now. So if you got it, hoard it.
Does
Because-
that mean the hobbyists won't be able to buy it?
I think that's fuse that isn't sold as.
No, it's 1.3.
Well, I don't know what the,
The
difference.
Canon fuse is
So
exempt
I don't
from
know
that,
what
though, isn't it?
difference it would make with that designation.
I think they're going to have to do something.
You know, but knowing the way they make regulations,
Like
there's
the what?
probably some easy way around it.
like 25-foot rolls or something in order to qualify as Canon fuse. Keeping in mind that most visco is sold in bulk, 100
Yeah.
feet, 200 feet, whatever.
Yeah,
Well,
there's
it's
bound to be.
stupid.
There's got to be a loophole for the Canon guys, but it's probably going to be quantity related.
But what will have to be different about it? That's the question.
Well, they'll probably limit the package size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they already don't allow, if it's not intended for Canon use, even
Yeah.
for the last year, it's been
Yeah.
longer. It's been that
Okay.
you have to sell it as one per, hasn't it?
Yep.
As I said before, the
Except for Mark the Pyro.
whistle rocket guys making a 10-to-3 ratio. It's much stronger, and it burns faster than gunpowder. Similarly, rammed with the same compression, it burns, I'd say, at least half inch a second. Whereas, as you probably know, it's 3/8 of an inch is the standard for good gunpowder. I mean, if it's been ball milled, incorporated well, and as you probably know, all of the A powders are ball milled 24 hours. But all you need is a couple hours. Oh, let's see who's sleeping here. Oh.
Here.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. We're gonna light a whistle. I don't know if you're down with or not.
Always good little whistle in the hole.
Uh,
Oh,
Yeah.
Ain't a whistle chaser. Hey,
Yeah,
Dave.
Barrett.
Dave. Whistle
it went that way.
I think we just need to pack 500 marks in a shell and shoot it.
Yeah.
And it would be whistling. And if you I didn't put any titanium in here because it wasn't intended for.
Would that be sponge titanium?
Well, sponge titanium is always better. I mean, but when you get intimate incorporation, you can use the spherical. It's when you put spherical in a solute where they're liable to miss, because a sphere has the least surface to
Right.
what am I trying to say?
Surface to
Total
volume
mass,
ratio.
I guess,
Yeah.
And sponge has a lot of extra surface.
But 4080 works great,
Yeah, I remember the sponge salutes. They were lighting them, and I mean, it went like 100 feet in every direction.
But they were
Lighting on the
using
ground.
coarse sponge.
It was just.
Well, the particle size makes a big difference how far they go. If you've got like a 10 mesh, it'll probably go 50 feet before it burns out. If it comes out with good, if it's 100 mesh, they ain't gonna go more than a few inches.
Yeah. Well, it was probably less distance than 100. I was exaggerating. But they were very.
Well,
impressive.
there was somebody shot a fountain over here last night. I think it had crackling with it. It was about 10:30 or so.
Yeah, I saw it.
It was
And it was a very nice fountain. I don't know
It
if
was
it was.
a milk crate full of a number of fountains. It lit the milk crate up too.
Oh, that's why the milk crate was melting.
Okay, so what my plan now is, while I'm talking, I'll make 11 of these, and we'll build a shell. It takes 11 in there. I should have made a 3-inch, but I brought a 4-inch for it. So I guess my first question for you is: are there any questions?
No, that was good.
I was late to this party. Can I pick up a formula sheet from you?
Which?
One of these formula sheets?
That's for another class.
Oh,
The
gotcha.
ones I left over from another one. That's why I got these paper here. If you needed to take notes, write down for any formulas you want.
Want
I
to
mean,
take a picture with your phone? Sure.
because this will take me a while, and I can talk and chew gum at the same time. Right about there.
Yeah. It's in the
It
truck.
looks like an authentic Mexican hammer.
It is. That's made in Mexico.
It's got red gum in it.
I brought several different kinds back. Sometimes I forget if it's a second or third. I usually remember it's a first. Well, one of the things, since I now have one ready to go, I'll show you how I nose them. There are several different ways to nose them, and the way I use, the only thing I don't like about that is that, all right, oh, there you are. It takes a lot of fuse. Now, this is one where homemade fuse would work perfectly, and the way, it's been a long time since I used homemade fuse, but I usually cut them. You just measure how far it is down. There's two ways you can do it. Let me do it the other way first. Just make like a little V like that. Stick it down in there. Bring it up and over. And just, now what I forgot to bring was dusting meal. But it probably doesn't need it. But if we have 11 in there, 1 or 2 might not like. That's a really simple way to do it. The way I usually do it, quality through redundancy, is to another one here. All right, let's see right there. I'm not being too scientific. I rarely use a funnel. I get so after you've done it a few thousand times, you don't even think twice about it. Anybody want to try this? Okay. Done. I don't think I put that in there. All right, there's 2 done. All right, I just put the mark on, that's the open end. I went through and had to remount a little bit. There's that. There's that. I'll put this pinch in there for you.
Okay.
And there's the powder, and we'll all stand back 100 feet. Like you gotta put powder in first. You don't have to pound that little pinch. It spreads out by itself. Yeah.
It's just a fire seal, not a pressure plug, Bill.
Okay.
I say it's just a fire
Hold
seal,
it
not
over
a,
the.
Too much?
Since you're not using a funnel, you're just approximating anyway.
How's that?
Yeah. And try to put it where the
Oh, the leg is.
Yeah, it comes up right about there. Couple more. That'll do it. Now once more. Put a little bit more in.
All right, Captain.
That'll do it, yeah. Who knows which one yours goes out first.
Again?
two more.
Yeah, that'll do it, yeah. Okay, anybody else want to do it?
Here, I'll give you the shaft.
Won't be the first time.
Well, I'll keep doing this for a minute. Oh, good, if you want to do it, yeah. I'll just put this in there like that, and you're all set. You don't have, yeah, don't take it up. If you pick it up by the bottom of the tool there, the jig. Hold it on. Yeah, see, you don't worry about how much there is, because most of it's going to miss anywhere, half of it. Yeah.
That you wire to the starter.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, just tap it down. Yeah, that's
somebody out.
Yeah, they had a report.
It doesn't have to be exactly.
We did that to my father so many times, it didn't even bother me.
That should be okay. Yeah, that's the end you hit with. Let's see if it's a problem or not. Yeah, good. I did. Make sure they all work. One more. Or two. Okay. One more time. That's the first one.
Folks are a nightmare.
Okay. Was that all the way down? It looked like it was. I think that'll do it. That's funny. I had done all of it, so I couldn't do that. Okay. Anybody else?
It's only $1.
That's right. I like that. I think I got enough here. Okay. Well, let's see. These won't take long. I'll start talking about the next. Now, green flash has been around for a long time. And in fact, we get the topic of flash, there's hundreds of directions we could go. And the I don't know, maybe anybody here has met Orv Carlisle? He's the original rocket man. He invented the model rocket. He passed away in, I'm trying to think now, was it 87? just a week before the last Rochester convention that I hosted. Anyway, he invented his story is really interesting. Back in the early 50s, and to get an idea of his age, he was the big kid on the block when Johnny Carson was riding around on a tricycle in Norfolk, Nebraska. He owned a shoe store there, and he had a wonderful museum in the basement, fireworks museum. I don't think it's there anymore, but because just gotta get some more of that stuff on. And he had a giant book. He wrote down everybody's flash formula that he ever talked to. And I got lots of flash formulas because I got so many different uses. Like, it just so happens that the first flash formula I ever heard of was 7-3, and that's pretty good. But that was when time German blackhead aluminum was first being seen, and you have to use more of the what was the last one I did? Okay, well, one of them here. Back to my point. I think he said that no two people ever had the same force. But 7-3 doesn't work for if you're making, like, for flash pots. 7-3 doesn't work very well with it. So you have to have more like 2-to-1, and if you're doing 2-to-1, it's a good idea. Well, I start assuming things that people know, and maybe I shouldn't. That what we call American dark aluminum used to be called 809, and now it's more often called 10890. About 15 years ago, somebody somehow it got changed to a much coarser. And my point being that if you I don't know if many of you were making flash before 2000. 7-3 always worked great. You didn't need German dark. But nowadays, 10890 doesn't work very well. Now, if you put sulfur in there and confine it well, it'll pop pretty good. But
I was making it before 2000 and doing the 70-30, and then we would add, was it chemite? No, it was almost like a real fluffy material.
oh, Cavusel.
Cavusel, yeah, Cavusel. I'd add a little Cavusel to it.
Well, that's not a bad idea, and especially in humid areas.
Yeah.
All it does, Bill, is fluff it up and keep it from recompacting,
Right.
so that fire pads can get through it more easily.
Okay, it's see, when you use perk rarely compact. It's almost totally insoluble in water, and with perk, especially pure perk, you get it's chlorate that needs it, because chlorate will clump up, and in fact some chlorates very badly. fact, it doesn't hurt to have anti-cake. And so, my point was really that formulas have changed over the years. My formula was always 12-4-3, or with the 10-pound limit, 6 to 1.5, with 6 being per the 1.5 sulfur. But it didn't work with the 2 parts, so I had to switch to that 2, break it down into 2 parts 809 and 2 parts blackhead. Now, the Indian blackhead, in my opinion, is just as good as the German.
Yeah, it works good.
I mean, it bangs. Well, and even so, German has blackhead, blue head, yellow head.
Which one has the deeper sound? Like the boom instead of the high pitch?
That's a good question. I think that if you really want that deep response, it's probably best to use to add some barium nitrate. Barium nitrate will make it do that. Let's the same way here. That's fine.
A lot of the commercial stage concussion devices are made with barium nitrate or strontium nitrate, and in the case of strontium with magnesium, they give you a nice throaty boom instead of a sharp crack.
Yeah. Mitch always tried to teach me. He said you wanted to hit you, not hurt you.
Right.
Okay. So we got 3, 6, 8, 9, 2 more to go. Right. Don't get those in there. Those are the wrong size. Okay. Almost done here. Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, I guess I've never thought about need to be a competition. If you're worried about making a bigger bang, don't use perk, use chlorate. And remember that the old Italians still use chlorate for their flash.
So do the Maltese. Lots of it.
Yeah.
And their stars.
Well,
I hear that they're starting to get away from the chlorate.
and in
Probably
fact,
for government.
Flash.
it costs a lot more.
They've had some accidents.
All right, one more and we're done. Where was it there? Got an extra one.
Because chlorate, isn't that what's on the end of the Ohio blue chip match?
Yep.
Chlorate?
Well,
Oh, yeah.
Chlorate and sulfur.
Chlorate and sulfur?
Oh no. Are you talking a strike
there's-
anywhere?
On the matchbook covers?
no, strike anywhere now.
Strike
Yeah,
anywhere,
that's well, it's amorphous
Phosphorus pentasulfide or something?
phosphorus.
No, he's talking about strike anywhere matches.
Right.
Jim.
It's got a little tip of
Well,
phosphorus pentasulfide. I think.
What?
Phosphorus chloride.
Yeah, there's probably phosphorus on the plates there too. I believe there is. Okay, where-
They use the
There you go.
sulfide.
Check it out. I don't know if it says so on there or not.
No, these are not strike anywhere.
Okay,
And they'll
now,
have phosphorus.
am I done with this one or not? I can't.
Light one.
It just, did I? No. I don't think I rammed the first one in. Oh, wrong side. Last one. It's so easy to lose track where you are. There we go. Pa-ting. I usually give one extra ram to the second increment. Okay. Now, Now I'll show you what I think is the best way to. I cut these about 4.5 inches roughly, but like I say, it depends on. And try to make a V right in the middle, so they don't have to be precise, but you want them close to the middle part there, and put them in there like that, and then over like that. Oh, that's right, I gotta do these first. I usually then take a I dip them in water and then into the powder, and then the whole top is covered with. It isn't necessary. I don't think it's going to be that big a problem. And what I'll do from now on is I'll make them not quite halfway. I'll make it more that way, so I get one well outside. Mark the end. So I have one sticking out just a little bit, and only one to. They're ganging up in front of my nose now.
Some of those napkins.
Must be something good in there they want to eat. Oh, great. I hate it when that happens. Okay.
You want me to tear tape for you?
Yeah, sure. That I need. I got 2 pieces here, and
Get a closer look anyway.
sure. Just put. I got 7 left there. 8. Oh, okay. So I got 2, so need 6.
Okay.
Just stick them on the edge here. Any old place. Hang it up. Alright. That's why it's important to get your increments fairly consistent. Another thing you do is you could take these little, tear them about, I'd say 5 square inches roughly, and just make a little ball, shove it down there. That's a good, quick, and dirty way to do it, and it's always worked as far as I know. Let's see, there we go.
Oh, you stuff the paper in there instead of using tape?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
You're doing what's the seminar?
All right, Greg. Okay, got 5 left to here. So back to our other topic, getting ahead of myself. It is possible to make colored flash. Red flash is fairly easy, but it's painstaking. In fact, you could take a mixture of I don't remember the exact, but something like half and half chlorate and strontium nitrate, and then use granulate it with nitrocellulose. And let it dry, and then I don't remember the exact ratios, and then when it's dry, mix that something like 3 to 1 or 5 to 2 with fine magnesium, That seems to work all right.
Like 325?
Yeah, finer the better. I've used 5 micron.
And flake if you can get it instead of granule.
Or atomized?
Well,
Yeah,
to be
preferably not
atomized, it better
atomized.
be the 3 micron type.
Granular or flake is best, yeah. It's too short. Okay, then let's see how many we got here now. 4, 8, 9. Yeah, well, I guess I can't stand still. I have to. Ooh, my bug spray is obviously wearing off.
I wonder if they've got any deepest Africa off. Instead of deep woods.
So
Sunscreen looks good.
Oh man.
blue flash is hypothetically possible, but in my few feeble attempts, I found that if I didn't tell you it was blue flash, you would never know. It's very difficult to do. Even though blue is the most dominant color there is, it's also the most heat sensitive, I do believe. But green flash, that's relatively easy. In fact, the hard part with green flash is that it requires barium chlorate, which nobody seems to want to sell, or it's available. And like Carl Mayers could probably get it for you, but he won't do business with barium and chemicals, which is, as far as I know, the only one that makes it. And I will give you my formula. And I have tried quite a few variations, but I'm very happy with what I got here. And so I was going to start out by showing you, just cleaning my jig off there, someplace far enough away. I just happen to have a little bit that I need. Is it this? Yeah. If you want to write down, where I got the paper here, I want to write down the formula. This, I'll guarantee it'll work. I run the barium chlorate through 40 mesh screen, and I use 68%, and then I use blackhead 18%, and then 5% each of magnesium. The finer the better. I have minus 300, 50-50 of course. I always assume people mean 50-50 unless they tell you otherwise, because rarely are the 65-35s or other ratios used, and usually if they try them, then they come back to the 50-50. And then the Parlon, magnesium, and antimony sulfide, 5% each. You got that? Like I said, I got paper here. You want to write it down? So you can take my word for it, but this is what it is, and I'll use about, yeah, see, chlorate, including barium, is a little more water soluble, and it will clump up. And it's always good to run it through the screen again, you know, just window screen mesh to help fluff it up a little bit.
Jim, would you tell me again what the 555 is on the last?
Yeah, I'll start from the top. 68 barium chlorate,
Okay.
18 blackhead, 5 each of Parlon, antimony sulfide, and magnesium. And I use Parlon in the generic sense.
Right.
Okay, now I'm gonna take a little bit of this. I do have a concern that it may have a shelf life problem. Okay, I haven't. That's probably about it. That's a full teaspoon. That'll make a good one. I just tried it recently. This stuff I started making for the convention. I did a brief. Let's see. I like to do it. How about if I do it in that shade over there? Show the green all there. And it makes a good bang.
See it green.
Be able to see it over here?
Green flash.
Green. I'm contain green flash.
Green flash.
Come on.
It's burning.
It's burning.
Now, did the NC burn off the Visco?
There it goes.
I saw the green.
That was green.
That was definitely
If you
green.
close your eyes, you can see it again, but it's not green.
Mauve.
It's yellow green. No, we're talking about when you close your eyes and see the image again.
If not more recently.
Hey there.
How are ya?
Was it green?
Looked green to me.
It was green.
Okay.
Just a little big up an hour ago. How are you?
Oh, hanging in there, man. You.
You
2 years. 2.5 years.
Okay. Now I'm gonna.
tomorrow.
Now, if you can find some barium chloride, or if you have some and you want to sell,
Pretty easy.
I will buy. It's hard to find. If I'd run this through a screen first, I think it would have had a little more whoomp to it. But
There are places online where you can buy it.
pardon me,
There are places online where you can buy barium chloride.
for how much a ton? I mean,
It's not cheap.
yeah.
Like
Well,
aluminum.
the last I bought a 500-pound barrel in 1994 or 5, say 20 years ago, and it was $2,000. And most of it went up in my fire. At least half of it.
Yeah.
Well, I had one unopened and one with Swedish perk, one almost full Swedish perk, one completely full. I lost a lot of stuff in my fire. But that's another story. So, well, what I plan to do here is make a. Oh. Kathy, you got the spray? Where'd you go?
Got the what?
You got that spray with you?
There's some right here.
Oh yeah, that's it. That's my spray.
Try drinking it instead of spraying it on your skin. It would last longer.
Oh,
Maybe if it comes out the pores.
stuff is what, exactly
Okay.
50% deep that the guy had earlier.
They were saying at registration that sunscreen works
Yeah, I
better than
just can't get down
deep.
range.
But it doesn't work.
That
Yeah,
stuff
it
works
worked at
well,
the
but
beginning, yeah.
15, 20 minutes it wears off.
Yeah, that's the
I-
trouble.
I will have no feeling in my face.
you're Greg. You were doing what time is it tomorrow afternoon? 1 o'clock or you're
Greg's at 3.
3.
3 o'clock. Okay.
Tomorrow.
Yep.
I'll make sure I see that. I've got a 6-inch shell I'm going to shoot. I don't know, whatever. Tonight or tomorrow night. That I'm down to less than 10% charcoal in my glitter cross heads. They dry a lot faster.
Are you
But-
also doing that display seminar? At 3?
What's that?
Got one down
Place-
your throat.
Yeah, today with those guys. I think I used 9 in mine.
Yeah, that's why I use mine. I think you get a sharper pop on the glitter with
Oh, wow.
But I don't have a ball mill, so I can't ball mill my nitrate charcoal. So
Oh,
I assume you do.
I bought
Okay.
a ball mill online, and now I'm getting all these rock polishing catalogs. What do they think I'm doing?
Let's hope they think you're ball milling rocks.
exactly.
Short-term life insurance, was it? Okay, where am I here? Trying to put this on. This is there for a swatter.
You might want to just keep those on. Keep the bugs out of your eyes.
They seem to like to go for my ears. On top or inside. Let's see, what have I got here? It doesn't have to be clean. That's good. So what I'll do is I've got some. I can make a 3-inch salute. I got I'd rather get rid of these anyway. The ones I bought was in last year, I think, for yeah, they're like 3 5/8 OD, but they're perfect for salute. I'll make enough to fit in here. I figure that if I make it like 100 grams, I don't want that might be too much. That's over 3 ounces. Oh, it might fit in there. I've got a smaller one. I don't want to take a chance on screwing up the percentages. But if I reduce everything by 20%, I can make 80 grams, and that'd probably be just right. So if we somebody got the numbers out there for 6, it would be like what, around 50 and 15, 444.
What's the formula?
68, 18, 555.
Yeah. 20 would be
68.
20, yeah, 80%
Okay,
is
so that'd be
68.
68 times
53, 15.
54.4.
Okay.
54.4 is your first one.
Okay. Then.
So 54 and a half. Round up.
Yeah, I'll take 55.
All right. And then what's the other one?
18.
18, different dark, 18.
Should be about 14.4.
14.4. And what's the other one?
555. Magnesium.
I can
5.
do that. 4.
And the 5s are all 4s,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
That's why I picked.
Yeah, 20%.
And
Does that
that'll
add
be
up?
1626.
Well,
It's
actually,
80,
the original formula comes to 101
damn it,
parts.
that's
so
91.
That should be 100%. No, wait.
68, 18, 555
69 and
101.
no, it's 81. Yep.
81. Yeah, there you go. Should
That's
be
close
80.
enough.
Should be 80.
Yeah. I mean, if anybody thinks of that,
Math is an important.
maybe we'll suddenly.
Yeah, you
I
know.
mean, I
It'll work.
imagine
It's-
everybody
it-
here has
those are-
thought,
those are
here's something
guidelines,
I don't think
recommendations.
anybody's ever tried. Maybe that's the one that starts the atomic chain reaction for nuclear fusion. That we all thought that once or twice in our life. Okay, so let's see. Let's put this one first, and I have. Oh, that one hasn't been. That's a fresh one. That way I couldn't possibly. I've had some of these for a while. All right. This is gonna go quicker than you might think.
You're getting him a couple of pictures.
There it was, all the way around. I think we're there.
No, he's up in Chicago, I think, the last month or so doing work.
Yep. Close enough. There we go. This is a pair of dollar scissors I bought about 25 years ago. It has just been one of the best scissors I've ever seen. So
Nice.
that's why the dollar stores seem to be such a gold mine at times. I love to go shopping in there. I stopped by and got those spoons. Let's see what I got it set on. Grams, wonderful. And oh, that's probably more, but you never. Yeah, this is worth its weight in gold. Oh yeah, it's exactly twice what I needed.
That's a little
110.
more.
Double everything else. We'll make it.
Close.
You got half of what you need.
Ah. Perfect. All right, and me. There it is. All right, where'd the twisty go? And the last part coming up here is I'll show you how the quick and dirty way to make shells that will always work. I mean, as far as getting up in the air and without having to paste them or any of that stuff.
I like that. That's why they call
I have,
it lazy
I can't remember the last time I pasted a 3-inch shell, except for like it was a component, an 8-inch shell.
That's one of the reasons.
This is a rather fine, expensive kitchen screen here. It must be at least 30 mesh, but it's excellent for this. It might be finer than 30. Now, when you're putting your chemicals through a screen, it's actually okay to use a spoon like this, unless they're mixed. Once they're mixed, well, unless you know what it is. Yeah, nitrate, charcoal, sulfur, I wouldn't worry about it. But anti-chlorate, no. Okay, now I just happen to have. No, that's not it. Where is it? I just happen to have in perfect ratio the other 5 or 4 fuels. So
They need 12 grams of that.
So we'll try it with this, and we're gonna
That's all 4
reset.
of it? Oh.
Yeah. So that was
30
14, 4, 4, 26. Yep. So add 0. I mix these thoroughly together.
Yeah, 8%.
Perfect. Okay, I'll take a tiny bit and we'll try that again. I think this one will do a little better thump because it's freshly mixed. Yeah, a lot of times I mean, these are all fuels, so there's no danger. I mean, you could grind them probably. I don't think I'd try it, but okay. Now we're gonna another one of my dollar store miracles here. I like to put the. This probably doesn't need it, but I like to put it through just in case there's some little. The blackhead will sometimes clump up.
Sometimes you find
Antimony
rats and bats
sulfide
in
will
there,
clump
too.
up, yeah. And I'll push this gently through. Shouldn't be any problem. Okay, a lot of it sticks. Even a day like this, you can have static. Might be what's holding it. And now, very carefully. And not pushing it hard at all. No scraping. Mostly it's just falling through. But it cleans out the, pretty well cleans out the, okay, and we'll mix it up a little bit. Just turning it over. Yeah, I think the barium chloride already reclumped a little bit. Now we'll put it back through there one more
So you
time.
can safely shake it through that scrap.
Yeah, if a lot of times take a small something like this, put it inside and just shake it. Yeah, but you do have to be careful on cold days. Cold for here, I guess, being 40 degrees. I remember all the previous 10 4Fs that I came to were, the last 2 nights were always in the 40s down here.
Not this one.
It might tomorrow night. Depends when that cold comes through. I must admit I wasn't able to see the weather forecast. Let's see. All right, I'll take a tiny bit here and another piece of tissue paper, another one of my staples. Use it all the time.
The antimony and the Parlon and the Magnalia are in there too?
Yes, all 4, the Parlon, Blackhead, antimony sulfide, and Magnalium were all together in there. But by themselves, they're no hazard. But you add the barium chloride, another matter. That's probably about half of what we had in the other one. Now I want to be able to see what I'm doing. I'll go same place.
Jim, you got a piece of Visco?
Whose is that?
Do you have a piece of Visco with you?
The tissue is
Visco?
Yeah.
This is my
Oh, okay.
technique I like best. To make it work with Visco, I gotta compress it a little bit. I don't want to make it go bang.
No, I don't want to make it go bang either. I just don't want it to go poof while your hand is on.
Fire in the hole. Up and smoke.
Well, yeah. I'm in green.
Very green. Yeah, I saw green. That's a Kodak moment there. Remember, swish, don't stop.
All your powders is good to always
November in Florida.
any clumping at all. Clump them up, they'll work good. That means running them through some kind of screen. Okay, how are we doing on time? 2:30? I'm gonna go back to the hotel and go.
Well, we're moving this whole meeting down to El Cross and Okeechobee because it's cold down there.
And a breeze.
All right, well,
Shore breeze.
any questions so far?
That was green.
So I think the first thing I'll do is, let's see, I've got, rice hulls are my declumber of choice. Anti-cake, whatever you want to call it. I don't want to put, I've tried titanium and it washes out the green, so not gonna do that. Besides, I think wow, I think I could have put 200 grams in there. But it'll be plenty loud. And after all, it's the color that's more important. And it'll bang. Got that down far enough. Maybe. Yeah, it's about a quarter of the way. Times it. Okay. All right, it's maybe a third of the way full. But like I said, that is not of any consequence.
Bulk it up with more rice hulls.
Where are we? Where are we?
Really
Okay, I don't need that. I do need that or that or that. And also more of this. Okay. It's funny how quickly this stuff wears off. Another good reason to go swimming. Where was I here? Well, I was there a minute ago. There's for the other shell.
Right by your hand.
I know that I got it. All right. Where? Oh, where? I just had it there. Is it? Had it up here? Oh, there. I knew it'd be someplace too obvious. This I refill. I buy these school ones because the tops are exactly the same as the big ones that cost $3 or $4. I just buy them for replacement tops, and then of course I put the get out of my face, you bugs. Okay. This is slightly undersized because it's 3 5/8 or 2 5/8. Sorry. And it doesn't make any difference what the width is. It's about 9 inches long, so over 9. I mean, normally 3/4 inch would be just fine. Okay, well, I'm going to use this chair for a few seconds here. Now, I don't know if any of you, I use the half, 3/4, or even the 3/8. Oh, there it is. Is the competition tonight?
Yep.
Tonight, yeah.
And it starts when? 7, 8?
Dark 30.
Probably 6 something.
6:30.
4:30.
That's when it's over. That's when registration is over.
Ah.
Okay, I'm going round and round here. Maybe you can't see what I'm doing. Just going round and round with the 3/8. This is an adaptation of what the Italians call rinfastiture. It just, what it means to me is double spiking. Yes. And it'll probably be louder than it would have been with pasting. I'm going to also spike it with twine. If you need me to stand up and show you what I'm doing, I'll be do that. But for those of you who spike salutes, I'm sure most of you know you don't need to do circumferential. Although I do on my hand roll cases on the big shells. So, any questions about salute making? Just ad lib here. You don't have to do anything special. Just treat it like string, I guess.
So it's 2 layers of the fiberglass reinforced tape there, Jim? Jim, it's 2 layers of your tape. He said how many layers you
Oh,
put on
okay. Not, you could. It's not necessary.
there. So how many are you doing? 1 layer?
I'll show you why in a minute here.
He hadn't got one yet.
Right.
Got a little bit of air between each one of them.
Just, yeah, it's, and so I bring a poorer scissors along for cutting tape. It's a great way to ruin scissors. A good pair of scissors. No, I'll show you what else I'm going to do here. It's may not be any quicker, but it certainly is quicker if you're only doing 1 or 2. Now, I take, this is, I think it's 30 weight, could be 40, and 30 is the preferable. And just make sure I'm overlapping both ends. I better check the diameter here because it's probably already up to 3 3/4. And the thing I don't want to forget is to put glue around the fuse. That is the most likely way if we're going to get fire inside. That's the most probable way of getting it in there. Now we can tape that down or not. The main thing is we're going to cover around the discs or around the fuse. Those are your weakest spots, or most. That's where fire can get in if it's going to get in. Thought I had some other. Okay, let's. I want to make sure I don't, just so it doesn't get beyond 2 7/8. There we go. Yeah, it's right at 2 3/4 because it started. Okay, so that's not too bad. So there's that one in. There it is. Where's that coming from? Thought I had the
You
end.
never find the end of that stuff.
Yeah.
You almost
Can't
got
be
it.
that. There we go. Yes. It's no place for the paranoid. I just do an open end. Do a regular spike here. I'll even do it a 4-inch style.
I just missed it, Jim. Are you just doing a single disc on each end?
Am I doing what?
Are you just doing a single disc?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it was a bigger, so the 3-inch. Do more. And the additional paper on there, I think is okay. Where was I here? Oh. Screwed up, but that's right. It's not pretty, but yeah.
Pretty good for hand doing it by hand like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I usually
without
have
a stringing block or a post.
I usually have a glove on, but just for this much, I don't worry about that. Mad saw me going in. Okay, now I think I'll just one more turn of that's for lifting. This is I have enough in there. Just do once around, and I'll tape it again.
Okay, let me go grab it.